Something big is about to go down as a recent report from the fourth period indicates that Montreal is very active in the trade and free agency market. With the Stanley Cup final just finishing yesterday, we've already seen extensions, even a trade go down in the hours after. And with Kent Hughes looking to improve this roster this summer, we are ready for something big to be in store. We got to dive into this report from the fourth period, what the Habs are looking like, who we could be targeting. But it's not just that, Jesse. We're talking big. We're talking guys coming up from Laval to add physicality, to add another element to this team, just like Heineman did last year. And there's two standout names that we have to discuss. Finally, the Rookie of the Year odds for next year are out. Our boy is on top. And also another note about a Russian prospect who has officially made the transition to North America for this summer. A bunch of big stuff coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. We'll start with Yevgeny Volokhin, Jesse, one of our favorite prospects because it's so fun to say his name. And per Hockey News Hub, per his agent, Go Habs Go prospect, Yevgeny Volokhin is currently in Montreal training. Now, he was just traded from Sochi to Spartak. Just awesome to see this, Jesse. I mean, Sochi was very bad this year. He didn't get much support, but we remember his unbelievable MHL career. Look at those save percentages. Pretty solid rookie season for a 19, 20-year-old in the KHL. I'm just very happy he's training in Montreal this summer. Maybe we'll see a bit of him at development camp or something, just like we're seeing Bogdan. Regardless, I'm glad we're seeing him over in North America for a bit.
For sure. And we know that all the goalie hype right now is on Jacob Fowler for the Montreal Canadiens when we're talking goalie prospects. But we can't forget about Yevgeny Volokhin and all of this, Josh. A very athletic, skilled goalie. Still kind of coming into his own, Josh. But, like, we're seeing some really positive things. And this is a young man who really believes in himself. He was interviewed not so long ago, and he said, like, he plans, his goal is to be a star in the NHL. It's not just to make it. Like, he wants to come, and he's saying, like, guys like Shesterkin, Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky, like those Russian goalies dominating the league right now. Yevgeny Volokhin wants to be that next name, be that next wave of it, that next generation of just Russian elite goaltenders that we're seeing right now. And I mean, it is impressive, Josh, that playing in Sochi, one of the worst teams in the KHL, impressive that he could get there so quick, but then having like an above 900 save percentage on a very, not good team as a young goalie. Normally that's kind of a recipe for disaster. So, I mean, there's some positive signs here. Like, we know the athletics there. It's a more kind of bringing some of that technique in, and then it all kind of ran out. But Josh, I'm just so excited to see him at the Montreal Canadiens development camp this summer, because that's really where the rubber's going to meet the road, and we're going to get a feel like, okay, where is he at in his development? Where could we kind of expect him? Is it kind of 1 year, 2 years, or is it maybe more? So he's going to show us a lot kind of going forward where he's at, and I think Kent Hughes will be very interested to see that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very interesting prospect. Now, again, his weight list on HockeyDB is 167. I believe he's probably heavier than that now. I don't think that's changed since he was drafted, but like you said, athletic, he's quick, he looks very solid in net, so I'm excited to see what his development curve looks like. Still young, be very cool to see, and again, like you said, Sochi, I mean, you look at these stats, like, dude was facing about 30 shots a game, right? Like a 901 save percentage with a 3.5 GAA. The dude was getting shelled every single night, but hey, he did his best. But Jesse, to stay on that note of Russian prospects, I mean, we're super excited for Yevgeny Volokhin. We are looking towards next year. This is just a little quick thing we wanted to mention because we've had some pretty good success with our Russian guys. Hey, who knows where Bogdan's going to end up after his KHL contract is over, but just a little look forward into the betting odds for next year's Calder winner, and well, they're out now. And to say it's a heavy favorite is maybe even an understatement. Plus 160 for Demidov, and Nikishin's next closest at plus 800. Look, I know, Jesse, anyone can come out of left field and win the Rookie of the Year. Like, no one expected Laine Hutson to do it this year, except for Habs fans who were very high on him. But, like, the favorite, I believe, was Celebrini, and for good reason. He's an unbelievable player. But a guy like Demidov to have this kind of commanding lead, I mean, just wanted to shout this out because, again, the whole hockey world at large sees the potential in this guy, and he has the potential to do something unbelievable. Go back to back now with Laine Hutson.
I mean, I love seeing him at the top of this list, and when you're looking at these other names, I mean, why not? Like, look at the body of work that Ivan Demidov has done in the past. He rightfully deserves to be the heavy favorite here. I would say a sleeper on this list could be maybe a Zane Parik. They're kind of going forward, but I think that our boy Ivan, like, that's going to be his goal. Again, he's like a Laine Hutson. He's kind of focused on that team success, more than anything else. But you know, he's just going to come out gunning in this first year. Just getting a little bit of that practice at the end of last year, I think, is just going to really propel him to even just really start this next season on time and secure that Calder.
I like that same Patrik shout. Just a little bit of Laine Hutson similarity. This dude is a bona fide offensive superstar, at least was in the minors or in the juniors. So going to be very cool this year. A lot of really nice rookies coming in. So leave your thoughts on all our Russian boys down below. But we want to take a little bit of a pivot and talk about the future of Montreal. And again, we're going to be talking about the report about the trades coming up very soon, because this is something we could very well address with a free agency signing or a trade. But if we're looking to build from within, there was an article that caught our eye today, Jesse, and I will link it down below from Tyler here, saying these Rocket players would up the Canadiens' physical game. And he mentions a few players. Again, there is Owen, Beck, Oliver Kapanen, and we've talked a lot about them, but I mean, we might even mention him here in a second too. But if we're talking about physicality, I wanted to just bring up Emil Heineman first, Jesse, because when he came to North America, we were like, oh dang, he has a great shot. But that was kind of what we saw of him. But you know what really made him a full-timer on the Habs? It's that effort, it's that physicality, that heavy game that was so important in that bottom six playing with Jake Evans and Yoel Armia. And if we're looking to continue to add stuff like that, again, we're losing a guy like Armia probably this offseason. He might come back, who knows? There's a couple standout guys in Laval, Jesse. I mean, my mind goes to Jared Davidson, who plays a heavy game, 24 goals in 69 games. And Florian Xhekaj, who also had 24 goals in 69 games, who also plays a very heavy game, albeit a little bit slower, but a little bit taller. I mean, to fix this physicality problem that Montreal seems to have a bit, yeah, you could go on that free agent trade market, Jesse, but we do have a couple of guys who are pretty close to being bottom six NHL ready pretty soon. And I think this is actually a very interesting way to look at this situation.
For sure. And that's the benefit of just having drafted so well, is that you really want these guys from Laval, like Florian Xhekaj, Jared Davidson, obviously Beck, Kapanen. They're all going to probably get some time with Montreal this season here going forward. It's going to be up to them to determine who gets that lion's share. But it's really to kind of complement those high-end picks, the Demidovs, the Caufields, the Suzukis, the Reinbachers, and obviously like trades that we're doing, and even like signings where it's like these depth guys, it's really to complement. And as we saw with the Panthers, again, it's important to kind of see what allowed them to have the success in back-to-back years where it's really not a fluke. And obviously depth is a big part where they could really just roll four lines and like having a very serious kind of third line right there. And like, for me, I love that we're bringing up Florian Xhekaj and all of this, because I believe, like, obviously he's going to start on the fourth line with the Montreal Canadiens. I believe he'll earn some ice time, and he'll get more and more where Josh, I'm starting to believe that, like, he has an upside to be, like, to earn a spot on a very good team on a 3C and really contributing just in a massive way, right? Like, we see that offensive upside, but it's really that work ethic as well. And I mean, and our boy Jared Davidson, I think we need to give him a shout out as well. Like, he will be a part of this team going forward as well. And I think, having that depth throughout the lineup, where again, this is a guy that, plays physically, but just has a great shot, just a very consistent guy, which I find is so important in your bottom six. Like, you want those reliable type of players where just night in, night out, where you can really kind of bank on them. And that's what I believe we have with Davidson and Florian. And like, it's really these solid picks that really kind of start to make the difference going forward, getting back in the playoffs, having that depth in the lineup. Of course, they're going to need to work it, and earn it to get that time for the Montreal Canadiens. But I mean, I really believe that they're well on their way, and they're going to help this team.
Yeah, I mean, very well. And even if they don't get extended time in the NHL, like, to push other guys to be better, to like, hey, look, we're about to bring some energy. We're about to bring heavy shots. We're about to bring physicality. And if you guys above us can't bring it, like, we might just force our way onto this team if this continues to be an issue for Montreal going forward. So it's like, you can't sleep on these guys ever. And again, we talk about Beck and Kapanen, who are going to make pushes to make the roster as centers this year. Florian Xhekaj has played a bit of center, a lot of winger in Laval as well. And again, Jared Davidson, heavy shot, heavy game, annoying to play against, which is perfect. But then you still have other guys like Joshua Waugh, who has the most NHL experience out of most of these guys. You still have guys on defense too. There's so many guys that can up that level for Montreal. And leave your thoughts down below on Florian, Jared Davidson, and all the other guys as well. But, Jesse, when we're looking to address these holes in this roster, there are holes right now in Montreal's roster. A team that just made the playoffs as the youngest playoff team in history, which is still one of the most insane stats I feel like people just kind of brush off. off. It's nuts that that's true, right? But
it is.
like, this roster has some holes and we need to address them. And right now, trade and free agency is the way to do that. And we have this from David Calabretta at the fourth period saying Montreal's looking to improve their roster in all departments, very active on the trade front on top of the free agent market. Something to monitor in the coming weeks. Now, again, obviously, we want to focus on 2C. That's kind of what everyone wants to talk about. We talked about Zibanejad yesterday, whatever. There's probably some more Rangers names. There's some Buffalo names. There's a bunch of names around the league. Mason McTavish, Anaheim, whatever it may be. But again, if we're looking to address these holes, that is the number one. But I like that we're hearing the Habs are in on the free agent market too. And I know we're not going to overpay some veteran for a long-term deal in free agency. That's not the MO of this front office. But again, if we are purely talking about adding talent to a team, trying to take that step from where we are now to that next level, yes, these Laval guys could very well get in there, but we have a lot of great trade pieces, and we also have to make this team better. Like you've said so much, Jesse, like, yeah, we could try and rely on the young guys, but I love that Kent is exploring all options to fill the voids on this team, to just make this team better, and honestly put pressure on our guys too to take that next step.
And this is interesting to hear, because hearing that Kent Hughes isn't just active on the trade front, but also free agency as well. Like, I think this just really speaks to how motivated he is to find that right fit. We thought for sure, okay, it'd be a trade just with all the picks and prospects that we have. But even looking at just all avenues available, like, I just love to hear this, Josh. Do not listen to the negative Nancy's. Kent Hughes is looking to improve this team in all facets. And I mentioned kind of three key pieces. I think the two first are the most important. Obviously, second line center, we know. And then probably a right-hand D. Probably, even on that third pairing, I think is okay. It doesn't need to be like a top pairing, even though there may be a space for that. I think that's Ryan Bockers. We're going to leave that for him. The other spot, I think, is maybe adding some grit in that bottom six. And we spoke about some guys from Laval, which I think could add that. But if you want to kind of make them earn it and kind of give them a little bit of a grace period there, I think that just makes a whole lot of sense going forward. But Josh, like, with such parity in the NHL, can Kent Hughes really afford to just kind of sit on his hands here in this offseason with obviously the rabid fan base that we have here in Montreal? Like, I just find, like, with the parity that we have, it's a good GM, it's scouting, and it's really the character and the culture of your organization, which is going to make the difference going forward. Like, so many teams, they're all so close and they're all looking for the same type of thing going forward. So what is it that's really going to separate these teams, the winners from the losers? I feel like Kent Hughes has obviously put a really good emphasis on that culture, kind of handpicking a lot of these prospects, these guys that we're talking about, right? He really knows this team inside and out and really knows how to motivate them going forward. So really interesting to see. And this is just great music to hear to my ears, because, we're hearing how just, maybe how, some options that we thought might be available aren't there, but we know Kent Hughes, he's cooking, he's in the kitchen, getting this done as we speak.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking around, with the Florida Panthers winning the Stanley Cup, I mean, obviously they had a bunch of incredible talent. A lot of that brought in by trade, most of their top players, right? Well, a lot of their top players, I should say. Marchand nearly won the Conn Smythe as a trade piece. I mean, Reinhart was traded there. Sam Bennett was traded there. But at the same time, you know what they kept saying? It's like, yeah, we were just relentless. It's a hard style of hockey to play. And they all bought in and they played it because they all wanted nothing more than to win with the team, to buy into everything they were getting told and to win, just to work their butt off every single moment. Whereas from the Edmonton side, you were hearing, yeah, they had their star players. They were saying, we kept doing the same thing over and over again. It's not going to work when a team like Florida hounds you every single day. You got to be mentally strong. You got to have great leadership. And you got to also have those types of players that step it up when it matters most in the playoffs, whether that's someone with big size, more grit, someone that can change the tune of the game and never let the other team get in front. I mean, Florida had a bunch of those guys. Again, Bennett, the Conn Smythe, always a stand-up performer, but someone like Forsling on defense who just has saved the team countless goals, right? There's so many different things right now that I'm sure Kent Hughes will be exploring all potential options, which is why he's looking at absolutely everything this offseason. And let us know what kind of move you think is going to come first this offseason. Will it be the 2C? Probably a trade before the draft seems likely. Will it be a free agency signing? We'd love to hear your thoughts down below, but that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in every single day. Ooh, the off season is just getting started. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.